What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only Mason Jyree. If you're new to the Lions Den, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I said the one and only Mason Jyree. So something I have really, I want to come on here and I want to talk to y'all and just vibe with y'all. Ugh. I want to come here and just talk to y'all and vibe with y'all, because focusing on different avenues of my career and doing different things. So before I get started, make sure that y'all are following me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram, okay? It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Y'all know like back in 2020 when y'all know like back in 2020 when everybody started making music and stuff like that, and everybody was like hopping on TikTok and doing all this, that, and the third. I, what's up, Jacoby? Um, I wasn't like I didn't hop on TikTok and just started promoting my music like everybody did in 2020. I kind of was doing, I was just doing it the way I thought I knew what was best. So now here it is, 2025, and I'm trying to like implement things that I feel like certain people have seen. They've seen over the past couple of years. And something I noticed is that like when TikTok or when Instagram, not necessarily Instagram, I really noticed this with TikTok. Did it just screenshot something? I really noticed this with TikTok. TikTok, when it finds out that you're like an artist trying to promote your music, um, it doesn't like push it out even more. That's why it's important that when I tell y'all to like my stuff, like it, because just because you know me, that does not mean everybody else knows me. And it's like inevitably I'm still going to be great. I'm still going to succeed. I'm still going to be big, whether you or anybody else supports me or not. But the thing about it is this: I'm getting to a point to where if you aren't supporting me and you just watching, you're not clicking, you're not liking, you're not commenting, I'm blocking you. I'm blocking you. I'm blocking you. And I've had to block a couple of people, because this is serious. This next era of my life, this next era of my career, I have to push through doors and do certain things that I haven't had the brain capacity to do. This is a new era for me when it comes down to just, I'm not gonna say too much, but just making sure that I'm promoting my craft because there is no other option, y'all. I will be one of the biggest singers in the world or I will die. All right. There's no other option for me. I'm not going back to school. I'm not working no plant job. I'm not doing none of that. I'm a superstar. I was born to be creative. So you got to either support that or you just got to get on through. So we in the Ain't No Lover Boy FR era, and I'm just doing things differently, like I just want to make sure that what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. And I just realized that certain platforms like TikTok, not really YouTube, but TikTok really suppresses artists in my position. Like it's like if it finds out once that's your song, TikTok be like, "Oh, we're not going to push it." Or like once TikTok finds out that you're like an artist trying, and I guess because of the market, everybody is trying to be a creator. Everybody is not meant to create. Some people are meant to consume. Now, with me, I feel like because I'm not just so like trendy or I do things unconventionally or unorthodox, like people tend to be like, I like it. But the comments I've got, like on threads and stuff, people they tell me they're like, I see longevity, I see you being somebody big in the future. And I do appreciate that, but I cannot, not acknowledge the fact of what it is now. So like Wildin' Out comes out in 5 days, and essentially, and I gotta tell y'all what happened to me last night. Y'all got hit by a car last night. I got hit by a car last night. Okay, so we're gonna get into that though. So Wildin' Out is out in like 5 days or whatever, and y'all know after love, we all go through this certain phase of like trying to, I guess you could say, hoe or fill that void, I guess, or whatever you want to say. And essentially, that's what Wildin' Out is about. And I'm on threads, talking about it, and somebody commented, and I don't remember the lax of the name, but somebody commented and said, they said something, but they were like, I didn't understand the lyrics. And I commented back, well, you must be illiterate because they're in your face. They're in your face. And you gotta understand, like, I feel like with me, um, I'm never gonna be the type of person I'm gonna let people run over me. Like the public, general people will not run over me. Like when it comes down to the internet and stuff like that, I'm not gonna clap back at everything, but I will be clapping back. I will be clapping back because you can tell when somebody's trying to troll you or when somebody's trying to like, knock you off your course because out of the hundreds of people who have came across this, you're the only person that said this. And it has to be illiteracy. So essentially, like Wildin' Out isn't perfect, but I love it. I love it. Like I love it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm listening to it, and it's like Cause I listen to the masters, like I listen to the file in my phone. So as I'm listening to, I'm like, man, I ate that. I did my big one. Like that. That sounds good. Like I'm in love with it. So ultimately, it's like I don't care about what people like that person, whoever they had to say, because if I like it and I know it's good. And another thing I've gotten is people oftentimes tell me, you sound like someone I haven't heard before. Like you sound like somebody I've never heard before. So that is that. Elevation is very important to me. We're moving on up. So last night I'm walking, right? I'm walking, doing my thing, minding my business, and I don't know if this person purposely hit me because y'all know I'm well known. People know me from around. People know me, period, but they definitely know me where I'm from. So essentially, I'm walking and I'm at this going across the road, and this lady hit me, and she ran off. Like she dead ass hit me with her car and ran off. So I'm in the middle of like, the police are looking for her and stuff like that. So yeah, that lady that hit me. Oh, just know I'm coming for you, boo. Just know I'm running you up. You done hit me with your car and took off. Yeah, and I feel like ultimately the reason why I like isn't like just I'm so more. Excuse me. The reason why I'm so adamant about it is because this year alone I've took so much, and that was the icing on the cake. Like you just hit me with your car. You just about took me off the earth. Literally, if she was going any faster, I could be in a concussion right now. And the sad part about it, it doesn't matter about me having influence. It doesn't matter about any of that stuff. My family wasn't gonna give a damn. They weren't gonna care about that. Nobody was gonna come check on me. Nobody was gonna give a damn, that Mason got hit by that car. So it's like, and like I was saying, I was like, I've always had to be my own protector. That's part of the reason why I don't play with people, because I've always had to protect myself. Mommy didn't step up, daddy didn't step up, and even throughout my career, I still have to be that protector for myself. So yeah, lady, yeah, I hope the officers find you, because you tried to knock a superstar off the map last night. Yeah, and like she literally hit me, and I didn't see her. Like she just hit me out of nowhere. I didn't even see her as she hit me. I just know I'm on the phone talking and I'm hit. And I'm hit. So yeah, so that is that. So always make sure y'all watching the road for real. People say little stuff like that, but it's truly moments. And if I just elaborate a little further, you know how they have those little white lines when you're supposed to stop on the road? It's like me, I'm at the bottom of it. Like the white line is back there. I'm at the edge. So it made me feel as though she tried to purpose. I don't know if she thought I was her baby daddy. I don't know if she thought I was somebody that I don't know who she thought I was, but the line was all the way back there. So it makes me feel as though she purposely tried to hit me. It makes me feel as though she purposely tried to hit me. And see, my response to when stuff happens is not to like whimper and cower down. Like my response to be like, "What's up?" Because girl, you just hit me. Like I'm not the type of person like. It's like, because it's like part of me refuses to like give up. Part of me refuses to be weak. Part of me refuses to cower down to life circumstances of stuff that happens. So my natural like response is to be like, oof, shell up. Because what is me weakening down or cowering down gonna do about, for the situation? So yeah, that's that. Most of the times, when things like that happen, that's why it's very important that you're always watching your surroundings. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, where you go, any of that. But make sure that you're always watching your surroundings, because I got hit so quick, I didn't even get the license plate, y'all. I got hit so quick and she ran out so quick, I didn't even get the license plate. So that is that. Like a lot of things have been like transpiring behind the scenes, and it's like I'm also sitting here thinking, about certain stuff. And I also, think how life could be a lot worse, how that situation yesterday could have been a lot worse, how life in general, could be a lot worse for me. And, if I just, go a little in a different direction, but, somewhat in the same vicinity. I feel as though like, I got on here a lot earlier this year and talked about how I didn't want love, didn't want love, didn't want love. And I feel like when you have a lonely life, like the life I've had to, and you've had to be, there, for myself, like I've had to, essentially, y'all, I feel like I'm being protected. I feel like I'm not finding it because I'm not meant to find it right now. think I feel like it's like certain things aren't happening how I want them to all the way, and not necessarily with my career, but my life, where I want to be at. The things I want to do. It's because it's not meant for me to. Maybe because I'm not ready, or ultimately maybe because I'm being protected from certain things or certain people. Part of me, it just clicked with me that I was looking for maybe friendships or like love to fill this certain void within myself. And I feel like that's what people do naturally. We do that. It's human nature. It's human nature to do that. When you have certain people who go throughout life, and they don't acknowledge them being alone. Like some people can't be alone. Some people can't take being alone. And I feel as though if you're one of those people and you feel like you constantly have to be in a relationship, you constantly have to be around your friend, or you constantly need something, whether it's weed, whether it's scrolling on TikTok, whether it's an alcohol drink, whether it's partying, you need to assess yourself and dig deep within yourself. And this is aside from my celebrity, aside from my superstardom, aside from my talent, aside from everything like that. This is real life, real deal. This is real life, real deal. You have to make sure that you assess yourself. And I want to let the people know that who are new to the Lions Den or coming to the Lions Den or whatever it may have you. Just because you don't know Mason Jyree does not mean that I'm not known. Just because you don't feel as though I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that does not mean I'm not doing anything, because I promise you I'm doing more than you probably could even imagine, than you probably could even fathom. I feel like a lot of people's society is so done with love. So the fact that I'm going through this whole era of just talking about, love and things that I've been through, people are like, we kind of heard this before, but you haven't heard it from me and you haven't heard it my way. Because see, I don't love in the way of, some people, they love you overbearingly. I have a detached way of viewing love, just a very different way, of viewing it and talking about it, and I think that in order to love, you have to have self-love. And I feel as though self-love is very important, because like I just said, if you don't have self-love, you will constantly be searching for something. And when I say you, I'm talking to myself. When I didn't feel as though I had love, I was searching for something, and I would use different outlets, whether it be drugs, like having sex with people that I didn't even really care about, just to fill that void. You do certain things like that. You act like that. So when I say you, let me say me, and I'm just only speaking about me because I know me speaking about me is talking to other people, and it's relatable, and it's not purposely relatable. I'm just me. Like, I'm just me. And I can't shy away from certain things. Like, it was a time in my life where I was going through this phase of, this is before I met my ex or whatever, but I was going through this phase that I was searching. And I was doing a lot of heavy drugs. I was doing a lot of, partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking, a lot of, just living the fast life without the fast life. I've done, I went through this phase of like me having these, and I'm just being honest and real with y'all. Honest and real, because I know people are going to come back and listen to the video all the time. That's another thing I want y'all to realize. Just because, that as we're doing this, people aren't, here, that doesn't mean they don't come back. So, so I went through a phase, where, like I said, I was doing heavy drugs. I was doing like, just to fill a void, just to feel something within myself. I was having sex with people that I really didn't even care about, but just for the sake of having somebody by my side, I would keep them there. And like, ultimately, now that I'm more wise, like, it makes me want to throw up. It makes me want to throw up because I realized, dang, I just needed to be by myself. And I feel like this year, all those times of me coming on here talking to y'all or whatever, it's like this year life forced me to be by myself. It forced me to this year life forced me to be by myself. It forced me to like say, hey, you're not gonna depend on sex or drugs or weed or alcohol. You're not gonna do certain things, because believe it or not, aside from just to give y'all a depiction, aside from I've lived like a private kind of like secret affair Hollywood type of life, even on this level. It's weird, but like I feel like I've been prepared for that, for the future. This phase to where the world thinks I'm okay, but behind closed doors, I'm drowning. I'm drowning in alcohol. I'm drowning in ecstasy. What's it called? MDMA or whatever it's called. I'm like partying. I'm just, I'm getting drunk. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I'm really like, living the living the fast life, I guess you can call it, or whatever. And ultimately, I just realized I was looking for a void, and the void that I was looking to fill, I tried to fill it with a lot of different things, and I'm disgusted now. I'm disgusted now. A lot of people won't talk to you about the things that they go through as they're elevating, their life, or just whatever circumstances may have you. People forget, even though I'm chasing my dreams, I'm still, like 24. You have to add certain things onto wherever you are in life. So if you're, how they say, more money, more problems. That's essentially what I'm talking about. I'm chasing my dreams. I'm doing big things, but I'm still growing as a person. I'm still learning. I'm still, going through certain things. And I feel as though, a lot of those times where I spent in my home, in my apartment, and in my house, locked up in there for days, my family's wondering what's wrong with me, what am I going through? And the whole time I'm just in there promoting my craft and binging off drugs. Um, and it's crazy, and it's only because I was looking for a certain void. So I feel like that's why it's kind of important, like that now Wildin' Out is about to drop, because that's what I was doing. I was wilding out. I was going crazy. I was going crazy. Um, and I feel as accountability ultimately has brought me this far. When you reach a certain level of visibility and you reach a certain level of notoriety, you're gonna have certain eyes on you. Well, I have certain eyes on me, and it's important that I make sure that I respond in a certain way, that I don't wild out, that I don't want to feel that void, or do meaningless things like having meaningless sex, or doing drugs and partying with people and being in places that I shouldn't be. I think that era for me is ultimately done. It's snipped. Um, and because, life forced me this year to be with myself. It forced me to sit down. It forced me to say, hey, you're not going to do this anymore. Hey, you need to stop smoking so much. You need to stop, smoking so much marijuana. You need to stop drinking so much. You need to stop partying and really locking in on your craft. You need to, that's what's really been pushing at me this year. And ultimately, I feel like another thing, I don't like the disrespect people get. People who are in my position get. As far as us chasing our dreams, I feel like there's a lot of people who are bitter and who don't have things going on. People who, like me, who are creative and we're chasing our dreams, they want to shit on it, all because they don't see it for themselves, or all because the market is so oversaturated. I'm a different breed, and only time can show you and tell you. Only time can show you and tell you I'm one of the realest people doing what I do. It has me to a point I don't even want to say I make music or I make art just for numbers' sake or people on the live. And it's like, I don't care, because one thing about it, inevitably my success will come. But I just have to make sure that I'm staying on track like I'm doing now, and I have to make sure that I'm being authentic and open and and honest. About myself. If I'm being truthful, as a child, I remember, and this was years ago, like probably like 10, because I'm about to be 25, so like 14. I just remember not feeling. I just remember being desperate, being really desperate to have some type of connection, to have some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Because I felt like, all of my classmates were moving very fast. They were out here, having fun. They were out here partying, having sex. They were just doing their big one. Even though we were 16, 15, 14, we shouldn't have even been having sex anyway. We shouldn't have even been doing those certain things anyway. However, it's like I felt like, because I was undesired, it's like I felt like I had to. So I feel like I would be desperate for certain people. And as I got older, it ties back into that certain void I was chasing, desperate for connection, doing drugs, and this has been a long life chapter of me feeling unseen, unappreciated, and trying to make people fit in the story, trying to make people get me, make people understand me. And it's like, it's not meant to. A lot of people, you're wondering why your life isn't going anywhere. It's because you have people around you who are not meant. It's because I had people around me who are not supposed to get that version of my success. They're not supposed to touch that part of my story. So me keeping them around in my life is essentially blocking what I have coming for me. Me acting and and doing some of the things that I was doing, living some of the lifestyles that I was living is not going to it's not saying it's going to hurt me, but it's not going to promote me. It's not going to help me either. It's not going to help me either. You have so many people who they just live life, and they're not mindful of themselves. They don't take accountability. They don't look at themselves in the mirror. I look at myself every day, and even at the smallest inconveniences or the smallest modicum of my wrongs, my flaws, I check myself and I handle myself and I move accordingly. Um, and I just want, you know, bigger for myself, and I know bigger is coming, and I know it's levels to it. It's levels to it. It's like I'm past the point of saying, "Hey, see me." I know the people see me. I know the people see me, but it's like I want them to see me more. I want them to see me more. So I'm having to, understand certain knowledge as far as how do I get myself out there? Like, how do I push myself? You know, how do I get, a certain collective hum around me to where when I'm doing something, people are like, Mason just dropped. Like, Mason's doing this, Mason doing that. What does he got going on? Stuff like that. So, yeah. But I feel as though it's important. A lot of people, they just, especially the artists in my position, they just chase their quote unquote dreams, but they don't chase a self betterment. They don't chase, peace of mind. They don't chase, being in tune with yourself. They just chase people knowing their music. And it's like, I don't just want to be at the top. I want to be at the top, and I want to be at the top in peace with mental sanity, comfortable, not stressed, not overwhelmed, not worried about certain things. Um, so I just encourage all upcoming artists, all upcoming creatives, to just make sure that you are taking care of your mental health as you are like elevating and stuff like that, and make sure that you are aware of the cycles that you are going through in life, so you can cut them off and move forward. Like I said, there's a lot of people who they probably supposed to be out of your life years ago, but you keep allowing them back and allowing them back, and it's part of the reason why you may be stuck. And I'm only saying that because of my circumstances. When I let certain people go, my life flourished. Certain aspects of my life took off. And the only reason why I say certain things, like comparing it back to me, because nobody wants to hear anybody talk without any, right, without tying it back to themselves. You want to make sure that the person you're listening to, they have been through the certain experiences that can equate and match up to what they are saying. And I'm one of those people. The things that I'm saying, it's because of firsthand experience. I never have talked about things that I don't know nothing about, or that I don't, haven't experienced in my life. So that is that. I think it's very important that I continue to just make sure that I'm focused. I feel like being focused, people don't understand. You have to be focused when you want something. You have to be focused. And another thing I recently realized about myself, if I'm just being honest, is that in certain aspects of my life, um, in certain aspects of my life, I'm not disciplined. I have to be more disciplined about certain things. And the point of the matter is that I never want to be held to this perfection standard, to this role model standard. I just want to be held to a person who was never afraid to show their true selves to the world, and he still shines. I never want people to be like, they feel like I'm some just, I don't go through things, or I don't have emotions, or that everything has to be picture cookie cutter, or anything like that, because it's not. Life isn't like that. And I feel as though people want something tangible, especially from me, because I don't give off fake. I know I don't. I don't give off not real. So I have to make sure that I give people something tangible from me. And it's not necessarily about me trying to muster it, or build it up. It's more so about me just getting over myself, getting over my getting over my give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, I'm back. So yes, I feel like people have not seen success, the level of success that I'm reaching or that I'm going to reach. They have not seen that come from South Carolina, and they most importantly haven't seen it come from a small town, and they damn sure haven't seen it come from a black boy like me. All right, all right. So that is that. That is that, and I feel like another thing, like things aren't just so like things aren't just so solely race based now. It's never been me. All right, it's never been me. But we're not going to sit up here and we're not going to not acknowledge the black man on your screen right now. All right, we're not gonna sit up here and pretend that if I wasn't any other race, not any other race. We're not gonna sit up here and pretend that if I wasn't a light skinned man or a white man, that I wouldn't be a little bit further. All right, we're not gonna sit up here and play like that. Okay, so we gotta make sure that we have to make sure, and why we have to make sure, because I always tie it back to myself. I always tie it back to myself because essentially that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah. As we enter this Ain't No Lover Boy FR, as we're already here in this era. We're already here doing big things in this era. I just gotta stay focused. Stay focused, stay locked in, stay doing my big one. When it comes down to it, support me like you would support them, whoever they may be. If you feel as though you trying to make up your mind on if you want to support me, you already made it up. Get the fuck on. You already made it up, all right? And another thing. Y'all know it's not polished, it's not cookie cutter. Yes, I do cuss. Yes, I will be cuss. Yes, you come on my Twitter with that, you come on my threads with that, you will get a little doot. I will be eating you up. All right. So that is that. Support me like you support them. The way I'm doing it is just different. It's just different. It's just different. And that's that. That is that. So if you have not followed me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. If you have not followed me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. If you have not streamed Ain't No Lover Boy FR, if you have not got ready for Wildin' Out in 5 days, if you're new to the Lions Den, if you just, I don't know, but make sure you get into me. I'm not playing no more. The more and more I see y'all getting into me, the more and more you will see me. All right. Like I got on here and I said a couple of days ago, a lot of people, some people, especially people when as far as me, when I first started making TikTok videos and stuff, not TikTok videos, damn. When I first started going live on YouTube, most people, they've always known that I was a singer. They've always known that I was a songwriter, actor, author, producer, or whatever. Not or whatever, but I got a point here. But they mostly just like to hear me speak. All right, they mostly just like to hear me speak, and it's just to hear what I have to say. So with that being said, those people, baby, it's okay to hear me speak, but go hear me speak in them songs. Go hear me speak in them books I got out. Go make sure you follow me on Instagram. Go make sure you follow me on TikTok. I do not, and I'm not going to do too much. And by do too much, I mean I'm never going to simply do too much just to get there. You get into me or get out the way so somebody else can, all right? It's just that simple. Once again, it's your boy Mason Jyree, the one and only. I love you, and I'll see you guys later. Abonne-toi.